for you. This is News for New England.
Good evening, I'm Joe Shortsley.
I'm Liz Walker. We may be heading for our first major winter storm of the season. It's snowing in downtown Chicago tonight, a sight we haven't seen very much in Boston, but that may be about to change. Meteorologist Ed Carroll is getting new information in the WBZ Storm Center. So, Ed, what's happening?
Well, Liz, right now, I think the storm system is really starting to percolate. Now, the snowfall you just saw there in Chicago is actually the second storm, which is going to meet up with the one just off the coastline. The one out in the ocean right now is really intensifying at a very quick pace, and I think the morning commute is going to be rather sloppy around here as the snowfall is now moving into the Cape and the islands. And you can see on the latest radar imagery here that the storm system is now starting to back inward from the ocean toward the Boston area. So I think the snowfall is likely going to be arriving here in Boston around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and then grow steadier as the overnight hours move along. Now, in terms of the amounts of snow which I think are going to be coming down, this will probably be by tomorrow night or early on Friday morning. There will likely be at least 3 to 6 inches from Worcester County out through the interstate of 495. Along the coastline, that's where I think the best potential for the most snowfall will occur. I put 6 to 8 inches there, but there is a potential that there could be more snow even here in Boston and higher amounts down toward the Cape. I still have information literally coming in right now, and I'm going to share it with you in just a couple minutes. Back to you in the studio, Liz.
Okay, thanks a lot. Watch News 4 in the WBZ Storm Center, the only local news from 5 to 8 a.m. for late storm information.
Terrifying story tonight. A young mother's been murdered, and her family says the motive was to silence her. News 4's Bill Shields is working on the story. He's live in Worcester. Bill.
Joe, we still have more questions right now than we do answers, but here's what we know, that a 21-year-old woman named Maria Torres has been murdered here with her 1-year-old daughter in bed at her side. This is the apartment house on Vernon Street in Worcester, and according to the victim's family, she wasn't simply killed, she was assassinated. Maria Torres' family says her former boyfriend is a leader of a street gang and is a suspect in a murder investigation. Maria Torres' family believes she was killed to keep her from talking to police about her former boyfriend. But investigators are not talking about any sort of gang connection.
A 21-year-old female was shot and killed in her apartment at 33 Vernon Street.
Were her children in there when that happened, to the best of your knowledge?
There was one child in the house that we know of that was hers at the time.
Not injured?
The child was not injured. Right now we have investigators out on this, and we've been trying to determine who and what and why and the reasons for the homicide.
We spoke with a number of her family members, but they were too afraid to go on camera with their theory, but they were adamant that it may have been her former boyfriend and this whole gang connection with another murder that was a cause of Maria Torres' murder. But you heard the police. They're right now are really not even discounting. They're not discounting it, but they're not saying whether or not there is a gang connection. Reporting live from Worcester, I'm Bill Shields, News 4, New England. Joe and Liz?
Okay, Bill, thank you. An asbestos scare at a construction site along the Boston Common tonight. Look at the scene earlier. The apartment complex, trim out on the Common, was nearly enveloped by steam. Now, it was caused when a construction crew hit a steam line and water main. But tonight, it looks more like a movie set, as everyone nearby donned plastic suits. Now, that's because the rupture of the steam line also released a small amount of asbestos insulation into the air.
All of their clothes have to be actually thrown away, and these workers here are being removed to a decontamination center where they get a shower and clean clothes.
Traffic in the area also has been tied up all night tonight, but it's expected to be clear by the morning.
For the first time, the head of the state medical board is answering the question, why did the board wait so long to investigate Dr. Marcos Ramos? Ramos is now formally charged with raping and molesting his patients. News 4 has learned allegations against Ramos continue to widen. Only News 4 spoke to the medical board chairman who discovered Dr. Ramos lied on his medical license application. Ramos said he had never been arrested. In fact, he was arrested in Minnesota in 1974 for sexual intercourse with a child. The case was later dropped. In 1995, an arrest in Swampscott for assault and battery, also dismissed. Ramos faced some of his accusers in court today.
I filed the complaint, and the Board of Registration in Medicine ignored the complaint, dismissed it, and I think that they're responsible for letting him to continue practicing the way he's been practicing.
if we had seen this pattern, if we were aware, if the board as a whole was aware of this picture over a several-year period of time, there's no question that some action would have been taken.
The State Medical Board is now working on a new computer system to keep better track of complaints against doctors.
Dr. James Cartel now says he acted in self-defense. The well-respected doctor is charged with shooting his estranged wife's boyfriend to death. Our top story at 11 last night. Cartel was in his wife's Methuen hospital room with another man when the violence broke out. Now, he was arraigned inside Holy Family Hospital today. News 4's Beth Germano is standing by live in Methuen with late information. Beth?
Well, Liz, tonight Dr. James Cartel remains here at Holy Family Hospital. He's in the cardiac care unit. He's also tonight an alleged murderer. His estranged wife is also still hospitalized here for an illness. They'd been married 32 years, separated for the last few months. Still, he'd been visiting her here for the last few days. It's unclear if he knew her boyfriend would also be here when he arrived last night. In the hospital where he was once president of the medical staff, Dr. James Cartel was arraigned a criminal charged with murder. It's left his colleagues incredulous.
It's just unexplainable to me, I still have a hard time believing it.
Because according to prosecutors, the respected plastic surgeon came to Holy Family Hospital Tuesday night to visit his estranged wife, Suzanne Cam, hospitalized with pneumonia. In her room, he found Janos Vajda, a man with whom Cartel's wife had been living. When a fight between the two men broke out, Cartel allegedly pulled out a gun and shot the boyfriend in the abdomen and went one step further.
This defendant went around to the back of the head of Mr. Vajda and held the gun to the back of his head and said, "Now you are going to get it," and fired a second shot at almost point-blank range.
But the doctor says, look at the bruises around his eyes, the cuts on his arms.
You look at his face, and you see the result of the extreme beating he took before any shots were fired.
Dr. Cartel had a 25-year practice in the Merrimack Valley, including an office here in Andover. His education and standing in the community leaves questions about the violence he's charged with.
To simply assume that on a basis of education or professional attainment, including physicians, that they're immune from the human emotions and passions, that's a wrong assumption.
Dr. Cartel was separated from his wife, but friends and colleagues say the trouble never amounted to this.
I was certainly not aware of any personal issues going on in his life. The widespread reaction was kind of disbelief and shock.
Now, his attorney says it was not unusual for Dr. Cartel to have a gun. He's fully licensed and had been carrying one for years. A relative told News 4 tonight, while the doctor is certainly bright and accomplished, he's also quiet and prone to a temper. This has certainly been a difficult day for his colleagues here at the hospital that is supposed to be a place of healing. Reporting live from Methuen, I'm Beth Germano, News 4 New England. Joe and Liz?
Okay, Beth, thank you. There was a small construction fire tonight in the old Sears Tower in Boston's Fenway section. The historic building is being renovated as a theater, retail, and office complex called the Landmark Center. Now, tonight's fire did not cause any serious damage.
Tonight, convicted killer Joseph Yandel has another 5 years tacked onto his prison term. You remember that Yandel talked his way out of prison in 1995 by convincing authorities he was a decorated Vietnam War hero. But his commutation was rescinded when the parole board realized Yandel had lied about his Vietnam service. He asked the parole board to reconsider. Instead, they postponed any decision for 5 years. Massachusetts is taking action to stop hate crimes. This public service announcement is a major part of the campaign. It encourages people to report hate crimes in Massachusetts. There's also a new website, stopthehate.org, that assists victims in getting help. The hate crime website is the first of its kind.
For your health, new insight on how much time should pass before the mother of a newborn thinks about having another baby. A study in tomorrow's New England Journal of Medicine finds that having babies too close together can be bad for the second infant's health. But researchers say having babies too far apart may be even worse. Risks include low birth weight and premature birth. The study says the optimum time to wait to conceive, again, is 18 to 23 months. If you're planning to start a family, here's some information to keep in mind. A study in the journal Fertility and Sterility suggests high doses of popular herbal remedies like St. John's wort and echinacea and ginkgo biloba can make it difficult to conceive. Research on animals showed these herbs appear to damage sperm and eggs.
It's the biggest night in music, the Grammy Awards. You watch them right here at WBZ-4 tonight. All the stars were there, and so is News 4's Joyce Kohawick. She's live from L.A. Joyce?
Hey, the show is just breaking up, Joe, and tonight the Grammys were just as glamorous as the Oscars. Usually the stars kind of sneak in without their makeup on through the side door, but today I spoke to them as they all made their entrances along the Shrine Auditorium red carpet. Watch this.
Chickeny China, the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and your brain starts ticking. Watch the next file with the lights on, with the lights on, isn't this one?
This is Lauryn Hill's year, y'all, okay?
Hey, Granny!
It's always a great surprise. And the nominations almost mean more than even winning in a sense.
It feels wonderful. I'm looking forward to having a wonderful night. This is going out to all the folks in Boston, and I know that's a place that's near and dear to your heart.
Check this sun out, baby. We're digging it.
We want to show the hometown crowd tonight.
I want to say to her?
Yeah.
Look out, pretty mama. We on the road again.
I'll be back with the winners in just a couple of minutes, so stay with us. Reporting live from the 41st Annual Grammys in Los Angeles, I'm Joyce Kohawick, News 4, New England.
Some long-lost home movies discovered, shot on the set of one of America's most famous films.
Great play by Antoine.
The Celtics look for a little magic against the magic. And tomorrow at 11, voicemail jail is here to stay. But telemarketing calls, there is something you can do.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dawn Hayes. Here are the winning daily numbers for Wednesday, February 24th. They are 9, 5, 7, and 4. In just a few minutes, Megabucks is coming up. Stay tuned to News 4 New England.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Cape Cod Dry Sodas, the best thing that ever happened to a cranberry. Available at your local supermarket in bottles or cans.
When I grow up, I want to be a veterinarian. That's it. Veterinarian. When I grow up, I'm going to be an inventor. A golfer. An artist. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then they say press off. When I grow up, I'm going to be president.
Remember when the world was full of possibilities? It still is. CareerPath.com. You can go anywhere from here.
And you fly people.
At Osco, we know that you have better things to do than wait for a prescription. That's why every Osco has express prescription refill service. It's easy. You simply call in your prescription refill, and we'll have it waiting for you when you want it. New technology and old-fashioned caring. At Osco, you can count on people who care.
Sir, we're going to find that luggage of yours any day now.
You never know what's coming.
You know that new sewer line? It's going right through your backyard.
But at least you know you're driving the right car. The dependable Accord from Honda for whatever's around the corner. Lease a '99 Accord LX at the very special price of $219 a month for 36 months.
Regular price. Saying when.
Break the spell.
Brookings and...
And. And.